Hello, good morning. Today I will read two stories of the Dhamabra in the Dhamabra book as usual. The first story is the story of Sumana, the florist. The second story is the story of Theri, Uppalavanna. The first story, the story of Sumana, the florist. While residing at the Jedona monastery, the Buddha uttered verse 68 of this book with reference to Sumana the florist. A florist named Sumana had to supply the king with jasmine flowers every morning. One day, as he was going to the king's palace, he saw the Buddha with a halo of light rays radiating from him, coming into town for alms food, accompanied by many bhikkhus. Seeing the Buddha in his respl- resplendent glory, the florist Sumana felt a strong desire to offer his flowers to the Buddha. Then and there, he decided that even if the king were to drive him out of the country or to kill him, he would not offer the flowers to the king for that day. Thus, he threw off the flowers to the sides, to the back and over and above the head of the Buddha. The flowers remained hanging in the air. Those over the head formed a canopy of flowers, and those at the back and the sides formed walls of flowers. These flowers followed the Buddha in his position as he moved on and stopped when the Buddha stopped. As the Buddha proceeded, surrounded by walls of flowers, a canopy of flowers, with the six-colored rays radiating from his body, followed by a large entourage. Thousands of people inside and outside of the Rajagaha came out of their houses to pay obeisance to the Buddha. As for Sumana, his retired body was suffused with a delightful satisfaction, pity. The wife of the florist Sumana then went to the king and said that she had nothing to do with her husband failing to supply the king with the flowers for that day. The king, being a Sotapanna himself, felt quite happy about the flowers. He came up to see the wonderful sight and pay obeisance to the Buddha. The king also took the opportunity offer alms food to the Buddha and his disciples. After the meal, the Buddha returned to the Jedona monastery, and the king followed him for some distance. On arrival back at the palace, King Bimbisara sent for Sumana and offered him a reward of 8 elephants, 8 horses, 8 male slaves, 8 female slaves, 8 maidens, and 8,000 in cash. At the Jedavana monastery, the Venerable Ananda asked the Buddha what benefits Sumana would gain by his good deed done on that day. The Buddha answered that Sumana, having given to the Buddha without any consideration for his life, would not be born in any of the four lower worlds, Abhaya, for the next 100,000 worlds, and that eventually he would become a Vijaya Buddha. After that, as the Buddha entered the bathroom hall, Ganakuti, the flowers dropped off of their own accord. That night, at the end of the usual discourse, the Buddha spoke in as follows: that deed is well done if one has not to repent for having done it. And if one is delighted and happy with the result of that deed, this kind of story, the story of Theri Uppalavanna. While residing at the Jedavana monastery, the Buddha uttered verse 69 of this book with reference to Theri Uppalavanna. Once there was a young daughter of a rich man in Saudi. Because she was so beautiful, with the locks so tender and sweet, like a blue lotus flower. She was called Obalawona, the blue lotus. The fame of her beauty spread far and wide, and there were many suitors, princes, rich men, and many others. But she decided that it would be better for her to become a bhikkhuni, a female member of the Buddhist order. One day, after lighting a lamp, she kept her mind fixed on the flame and meditating on the fire kasina, object of concentration. She soon achieved mega insight and finally attained arhataship. Sometime later, she moved to the dark forest, Andawana, and lived in solitude. While Theri Obalona was out on an errand round, Nanda, the son of her uncle, came to her monastery and hid himself underneath her couch. Nanda had fallen in love with Obalona before she became a bhikkhuni. His intention obviously was to take her by force. When Obalona returned, she saw Nanda and said, "You fool, do not molest." But he would not be stopped. After satisfying himself, he left her as soon as he stepped on the ground. The earth opened wide and he was swallowed up. Hearing about this, the Buddha spoke in verse as follows. As long as the evil deed does not bear fruit, the food means it is sweet like honey. But when this evil deed does bear fruit, the food suffers for it. At the end of the discourse, many attained suitable fruition. The Buddha next sent for King vicinity of Kosala and told him about the dangers that a bhikkhuni living in forest had to face from irresponsible person obsessed with the sun. The king then promised to build a monastery for bhikkhunis only in towns or close to the town. That's all today. I read two stories already finished. Today also I usually talk to you that you will get some knowledge and vision, some benefits from this story after reading two, three, four, like that every day I read. Today also you will get something from this story. Thank you all for your listening.